rubrics that are clearly defined and indicate what each grade is supposed to mean. Whereas as we get into the secondary level, it tends to be more, students are evaluated more no, more in against each other rather than against standards. And if we're going to really change this the way everybody on this committee, I think, has indicated a desire to do, we have to revisit that whole question of student evaluation. We looked at questions like, should we convert to a numeric instead of having A's and B's? And actually that would be getting away from, I think, what the committee really ultimately wants to do, which is to minimize the importance of ranking. So what we wanted to do was get that discussion going, and in fact, I would urge this committee to adopt that as a goal for this year of looking at student evaluation at the secondary level. And I would urge us to adopt that quickly, so that as people start with the administrators retreat this summer and our goal setting this summer, that's foremost in our minds. As we looked at all of those questions, it didn't seem possible to do very many effective things this quickly. There's a handbook that has to be published, and there is a whole host of issues. So we made certain modest changes, and you can see that all courses, with the exception of band and stage band, are included in the calculation of a student's weighted grade point average. And it's based on the following values. That's not changed. And the class rank is determined by the student's weighted grade point average. And what we would hope is, you can see at the bottom, for the class of 2010, subsequent classes, the class rank will be released as a percentile rank. But we really need to define what that will mean. We just wanted to put the entering class on notice that the old rules will not apply to them. We'll have to figure out exactly what the new rules will be.
Okay, Eric?
Yeah, Steve, I just had a question on, with the exception of band and stage band, are there any, because again, it focuses on those two particular courses. The reason, again, that I voted the way I did was because those two courses happen to be in addition to the normal 8 academic courses that were required or taken by every student. Are there other courses besides band and stage bands, or potentially other courses that would fall into that same category?
Yes, in a sense, but
Because
let me make it clear. We just looked at the different types of work that people can do, the courses that might come in from outside. And if somebody comes in with an outside course for remediation, for advanced work, or even for a transfer student, those courses would be taken outside of the normal school day.
Right.
And would be included in the average. But the band can only be taken inside as an additional course. And these other things don't have those constraints.
But I guess I'm not as concerned with the constraints as I am in adding, changing the level of the playing field, because if every student is required to take English, history, science, math, and then 4 electives in school, then that playing field is level for everybody if they take those 8 courses. Once you begin to take courses in addition to that, and particularly where you're weighting the grade point average based on whether or not it's a standard course, academic, honors, or advanced placement, that the same effect comes into play as band and stage band, because now you have courses that are in addition to the required 8 that probably going to be weighted only at the academic level. And that's what created the mathematical anomaly in this thing, as far as I'm concerned. That again, if you look at it, all things being equal, the kid that took the band and the jazz band, or stage band, the highest possible number of grade points they can have, the highest possible, would be a grade point average of 5.864, whereas the student that didn't take those 2 courses is 6. So the kids taking the band are already at a disadvantage because they can only get a 5.864.
I hear you. this is a different kind of situation. Let's take the the kinds of classes separately. If a child is taking a course for remediation, they've already failed it internalized.
Okay.
Taking it again is going to give them a chance to increase their average.
Yeah.
If they're taking it because they want to accelerate their program, it gives them an opportunity to have their coursework included, and chances are they're going to be taking honors or higher. We had a child graduate in 3 years this year and couldn't be included in any kind of
All right,
evaluation.
I just want to make sure we don't run into the same.
And the third one is the kids who come in with transfers. And again, they'll be taking what courses they took in their earlier school district, and they'll have a chance to have them included in the calculation. And whether they're treated as academic or honors or even AP is a decision that the administration makes when they consider the level of work that was done.
And again, I happen to agree with your position on the percentile class rank. The only problem, again, I see it, if in fact we're gonna rank the way we've been ranking through class of 2009, it just seems to me that the most scientific and mathematically correct way to do it is to take the numerical grade, because at the end of the year, you have a numerical grade, a very specific numerical grade, I might add, that reflects all 4 quarters of the subject they took. I'm not sure I understand, again, philosophically, why you take that grade and you weight it, and the 93 is the same as 100. So I guess if we're going to be sticking to this, what seems to be, a very conscious group of people about where they rank by 100th of a point or 200th of a point, it seems it would be a more accurate reflection of that type of rank if you use the numerical grade instead of the weighted grade.
Well, we figured out John pointed out a problem with that, which is that, as it stands now, if a student, through arguing with their teacher, can try to change their grade from a 92 to a 93, there's going to be a big contingent of the top kids who would do that. If we did it without grouping, 93 to 100, you'd have every single point fought over between 93 and 100.
But that to me is, if a kid thinks that they should get a 93 instead of a 92, they should be up there, they should be up there making the argument anyway.
But Steve made the point that, the idea is that we're trying to get away from the exact ranks.
We're trying to get away from it, we're not getting away from it if we're doing this.
Until you do.
I agree.
But you going to the actual percent is pushing us further away from where we ultimately want to be.
But the
until
system
then-
we're using is based on,
I think
look,
it's 2 different things. I think it's using the number grades and the way we rank them are 2 separate things. I think we get a more accurate determination of who's in the top 10% if we're ranking them in between 100 and I think grouping a kid at 100 and a kid at 93 in the same grade is not right. It's just not.
I think it's terribly imperfect, I think it's terribly flawed. And again, I have no trouble going to the percentile ranking at some point in time, I really don't, but, and I'll go along, if we want to keep it the weighted grade, I'll do that. It just doesn't seem mathematically accurate to me. I mean, you could have a student with 100 grade point average and a student with a 93 grade point average, which is a significant difference. I mean, it's theoretically.
Especially at that level.
And they could have the exact same grade point average when we weight them. So,
I would prefer to see it right, but I do like the move to percentile in 2010.
I argued for you, Jerry. I argued for that, Jerry.
Well, the band and stage band, that doesn't affect immediately for the class of 2007.
We would if this was the language, yes.
What about the grades for 2004, 5, and 6? Do those band grades and stage band get thrown out for those 3 years? They've already taken the classes in 4, 5, and 6, so those won't be.
Right.
Yes. they're not-
I
they
think
would
we
not
already
be
voted on
valid.
that.
Right.
Okay.
But I want to point out again, and I hate to belabor this, but there's been so much discussion and criticism, that a student taking band and jazz band, the highest possible, from the day they start, the highest possible grade point average they can have is 5.864. That's if they got an A in every single subject for 4 years. The student that doesn't take band and jazz band, they have the potential to get a 6.0, all right? And that is not a level playing field. If the day you start, you're behind by 14 hundredths of a point. So that's the point I'm trying to make about this.
That's why we changed it.
gone.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I move we adopt it as written.
Do we have a second?
Second with a minor amendment, and mine doesn't say and class rank at the title of the policy, it's grading weighted, grade point average, it doesn't say and class rank.
Yeah,
Mine does.
we did add that
All
when
right,
we
so
were
It
meeting.
should read grade,
Title
grading,
was-
comma, weighted grade, point average,
Dis-
comma, and class rank.
Discussion. I'm not gonna support it because it doesn't go as far as the numeric grade. Anyone else?
If we're doing discussion, I'd be interested in hearing what the superintendent has to say about it.
Put 'em on the hot seat.
No, I am, I'm curious, I just wanted.
We had a very lengthy discussion at the policy subcommittee about this, and the feeling was that we wanted to bring something back that was a step that would pick up where the committee left off last fall, and I think that's built into the exclusion of the band and the stage band. We also worked on defining these courses that are inside versus outside of North Reading High School. The early graduation or so-called accelerated coursework versus enrichment versus remedial. We've actually made a change. If you look closely at the remedial, you fail a course and you then take it again outside of North Reading High School, the practice has been to include both of those courses in the grade point average. We're now saying we're gonna substitute that remedial course. So in effect, that under the old practice, it would have been an additional course, you see. And it would have, so we've taken care of that, we've removed it and replaced it. But as Steve Jervy said, there's a broader discussion here about the whole issue of grading students. And we don't have an answer for that at this point. It's a major change. That is, we will be looking, I would expect, at a different way of grading. And we don't want to recommend a policy that cements in place that approach. The percentile rank, we talked about within the percentile rank, there may be situations where a student who is, in order to get the percentile rank, you have to determine the absolute class rank. But we're not going to release it. We'll release it as a percentile rank unless a student needs to know whether they're, say, number 1 or number 2.
Fine, so that brings me to when we get to the percentile rank, if that's what this committee wants to do, when we get there and we have to determine an absolute rank, how do we most accurately do that? Is it by numerical grade or is it by weighted grade?
Or a grading system to be determined.
All right, but again, I
Most
just,
exact is numeric.
Yeah.
And while you make the change, this is the time to do it.
Or you add an A plus category,
No.
which could also.
You want to be grading students against a set of rubrics. You don't want to have 100 rubrics, 100 levels of rubrics. You want to have 5. You want to have A, B, C, D at most.
Anyone else?
I support the numeric, I'm gonna support this, but I do support moving forward. If we're going to keep numeric grades, I support basing grade point average and class rank on the exact numeric grades.
I just want to point out that, I mean, it is, the students are given numeric grades, they are just grouped for the weighting purposes. You know, 90 through 100 are grouped and classified. I just,
I've never figured out why we extrapolate an exact
And then go
numerical
back.
grade to a very general.
Range, range,
I've
yeah.
never figured out why we went to giving the exact numerical grades.
All right, anyone else? Okay, so all those in favor of the policy as written?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Aye. 3-2. Jeremy and I. Okay.
Oh, okay. Can I just say, does that mean that we have no policy on